It is Tuesday night, so it is once again time for the Panther Pulse here on 93.3 The River, coming at you live from Zapata Mexican Restaurant. A thank you here at the top to our sponsor, Zapata Mexican Restaurant, as well as Joseph Chambers, State Farm Insurance Agent, and a lot of smiles here tonight as things cool down outside. Fall weather is in the air, but things heating up for the Pelham Panthers as 3 straight victories, and perhaps the most impressive of those 3, Thursday night's 30-20 victory over Benjamin Russell, which sets up a big-time region matchup this Friday night in Ned Bearden Stadium against the Homewood Patriots. Good evening, everybody. Justin Foster, as always, joined by Caleb Turrentine. And Caleb, I know you were listening along to the call. What were your takeaways from the 30-20 win over Ben Russell?
Well, I think the biggest thing was that after Benjamin Russell scored late in that first half, I thought this could start turning things a little bit. They went ahead, and once again, there was no panic, and, Pelham got back in there and made things happen in the second half and came away with, like you said, probably the most impressive win of the season.
And we have some other big-time winners from the past year with us tonight. Pelham basketball is in the house. Crosby Morrison and several of her players are here, fresh off of that Final Four appearance a year ago for the Lady Panthers. And later on, we talked to Coach D. Greg Dickinson is in the house, as well as several of his seniors for the boys basketball team. 2 straight Sweet 16 appearances, so a lot of expectations for Coach D in year 3. But right now, joining us, Coach Mike Vickery. And Coach, impressive 30-20 victory. Your overall impressions coming away from that win over Benjamin Russell?
Yeah, thanks for having me on again, and it's always a fun night out here. We had a good win. All region wins are great wins, and had a lot of challenges. We challenged our guys, a lot throughout the week to answer that call to what we thought was the best defensive team that we'd played. Offensively, had a lot of weapons, and I think for the most part we did that. We were had a few more turnovers than we would like, but we were able to make plays when we needed to make plays. So we're really proud of our guys defensively in some bad situations, again, and especially in the first half that they were able to get out of. I think they had the ball twice inside the 1 and didn't score, didn't get any points, and just really proud of our defensive players, our defensive coaches, and for being able to hold in there long enough for the offense to kind of catch up and make some plays.
10 turnovers forced in 2 games against Calera. We thought maybe it's an aberration, maybe it's something with the Eagles that started to look like a trend against Benjamin Russell. How are our guys making that happen, and what's the cause of forcing those turnovers?
Well, we've again, over the last 2 games, averaging 5 turnovers is pretty good, and you're not going to lose very many games, or shouldn't lose many games with that. But I think we played 2 teams that have thrown the football effectively prior to our games, and I think that's probably one of our strength is getting after the quarterback. Our secondary is kind of settled down and getting used to some of the things that we're doing back there. They're able to get hands on balls, go make plays, and we have a lot of length that are outside linebackers that are able to get into some throwing lanes, and you see those guys making some big plays in the passing game. So it's a luxury to have guys that can rush the passer and get into situations where they get their hands on the football. So our linebackers are really good. Our secondary is playing so much better, and led by Jamal Miles back there, and then Ethan Hills, who will be here tonight, he's made a bunch of plays with the ball in the air. So we work turnover drills every day with our coaches, and it's paying off right now.
And aside from the turnovers, the defense, especially in that first half, being able to keep them scoreless for so long. I mean, that's an offense that has put up a lot of points, and we saw what they did. The week prior, we talked about that on last week's show. What went into that defensive performance? Not just the turnovers, but making those 4th down stops, the goal line stand that you were talking about.
Well, number one, we just don't quit. I mean, they play hard. We were pretty good. Felt pretty good about what they were trying to do when they got inside the 5, and Coach Hall, the defensive guys, had them kind of schemed up there with having us in the right positions. But you still got to make plays, and that's what the kids did. And they got in there to the big quarterback, man. And when you're able to get a quarterback that size, on a quarterback sneak from the really inside the 1, be able to get him on the ground without getting the ball in the end zone. That's saying it's huge for a defensive line and those linebackers that got in there. And, again, we're fortunate. We got a couple breaks there too, so, and we'll take those as well. So just I think it's just a matter of effort, having an attitude you're not in, and coaches having them in the right spots to make the plays.
Early in that second half, Wildcats come back with a 13-10 lead, kind of seemed to seize that momentum. What adjustments did we make to halt that and really dominate the rest of the way?
Well, we missed a few plays in the first half offensively, and we had some things we really felt we could go back to. Clayton made some big plays. Again, we had a couple costly turnovers there on some drives that just kind of were getting started, and really and truly, it was just a keep doing what we were doing. We had a good plan. Our offensive coaches had a good plan, and we wanted to be patient running the football, and we didn't run it effectively, but we were able to be patient and kind of stuck with it long enough to keep their offense off the field a little bit more than they're used to, and again, we had some wideouts go make some plays with the ball in the air. Which is huge. So, we put together. We had a 17-play drive there in the fourth quarter. Ran 8.5 minutes off the clock of the fourth quarter. And anytime you can control the fourth quarter, man, you're doing pretty good there. So, again, loved our effort and loved our attitude the whole time, and seeing those kids making plays and when they had the opportunity, it was great to see.
And speaking of that long drive there in the fourth quarter, just for the entire game, there were moments where you guys got aggressive in your play calling, and then once that time came where you had the lead, you got a little bit more conservative, and it worked. What's finding that balance like, from a coaching perspective on when to be aggressive and also when to maybe sit a little bit?
Well, I think you're seeing some growth from a quarterback at times. Early in the fourth quarter, we didn't tell him to kind of work clock and kind of manage the clock early on in the fourth quarter on that last drive, But he's starting to get a feel for that and kind of did it on his own, which you like to see out of your quarterback. When you have a quarterback that can run, you can take a little bit more take more chances and your play calling. And we've been really good in short yardage situations in third and fourth and short. So we feel that if we can get into a third or fourth down and manageable, that we'll be pretty successful offensively. But there is a balance, that you saw a bunch of some of their defensive guys cramping and going out. We felt that we kind of had them tired on the ropes, and we just wanted to really be patient there in the fourth quarter and kind of slow down and make them tackle and make them and keep snapping the football. So there is a balance there. We are, we're always going to be aggressive. I mean, especially in fourth down situations, and we don't want to put our kicking teams on the field unless we have to, and we were able to make some big conversions there late in the fourth quarter to keep that drive alive.
We do want to talk about Clayton Maines a little bit. Kind of an up and down game. We did have 4 turnovers in the game. He threw one where it did seem he was pressing a little bit, try to get rid of the ball. But he comes back and plays some of his best ball late, including a pass to Kamari Hollis that watching the replay was more unbelievable than it looked live. How do you coach a guy that does kind of the freewheeling playmaking and makes those plays, but how do you kind of rein that in but allow him to still make those plays?
That's a good question. I don't know. There's a lot of guys that have played this game that just have something that sometimes you just have to let it be. You have to teach them the right situations to but you're not a lot of the bad is also why he's good. You know what I mean? So if you try to eliminate all of that, you take away what makes him a good football player. So we had to put the situation where we threw an interception there, trying to throw the ball away. Right there on our sideline was a 1 yard gain if the ball is thrown in bounds and called. Whereas the ball thrown in the end zone was if we don't make the play or if they have to pick that ball off, it's 35, 40 yards downfield in the end zone. They get the ball at 20. So now we have to teach them, hey, I'm okay with you taking a chance there, throwing the ball downfield up to one of our guys, but don't take the chance here, for a 1 yard gain. Just the risk reward part of that, and just trying to get him to understand those situations. Just throw the ball away, let's snap it again, and then hey, every once in a while we want to take a shot at the end zone, even if we have to. It may be scary to look at, and sometimes you may, as a coach, close your eyes and hope for the best. But that's, again, what makes him a good football player. And we have some wide receivers that can go make the play, and we feel good about it. If they don't, they can get the ball on the ground and be a defender there if they have to.
Now, y'all have won 4 or 5 games, 3 straight, obviously. You got that third region win that we've talked about, I feel like, every single week. And even though that playoff spot might not technically be clinched, you got to feel pretty good. What's the confidence level like right now within the team?
Yeah, I think it hadn't changed a whole lot. I mean, we've been pretty confident all year. Going to this game, Ben Russell's a good football team, but we felt we were a better football team. We felt that every week that going into the football game, that if we played the way that we should play, we'd win the football game. And for the most part, after had ourselves in a position to do that in every game, and I think that's the confidence we've had from the start is if we're close, we're gonna finish, we're gonna win, and I don't think that's changed very much. Our kids have handled everything from a business-like situation and just go out there and play, give every day at practice. They're learning and working, and we're just we're happy to get that third win, and now it's on to the next one.
Well, the 30-20 victory sets up a huge region showdown for this Friday against the Homewood Patriots, a familiar foe, and one the Panthers certainly looking forward to. We'll talk with Coach about that one later on, but coming up after the break, we will talk to 4 key players, 2 offense and 2 defense from the big win over Benjamin Russell. Later on, we have PHS basketball with us. That is coming up on the Panther Pulse here from Zapata Mexican Restaurant. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
State Farm Insurance Agent Joseph Chambers is a proud supporter of 93.3 The River and all things Pelham. Joseph and his staff can take care of your home and auto insurance needs as well as life insurance. State Farm was recently ranked #1 by J.D. Power and Associates for life insurance customer satisfaction. Joseph's office is located in the Canyon Park Office Center. His number is 205-663-3276. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Zapata Mexican Restaurant is a proud supporter of 93.3 The River. Zapata is a local family-owned and operated business, proud to have been a part of the Pelham area for more than 20 years. They have more than 100 authentic and delicious Mexican dishes to choose from. There's something for everyone, from salads to steak fajitas to chicken fingers. They also have excellent vegetarian options and a kid-friendly menu. Zapata Mexican Restaurant, where Valleydale meets Highway 31 in Pelham.
Work is a part of all of us. We know that the world around us has changed, and that's why the Alabama Department of Labor is here to get you back to working hard. Work is a part of all of us. Let us help you get back to it by visiting your local career center or alabamaworks.alabama.gov. Funding provided by the USDOL, ETA, and Federal WIOA, and Equal Opportunity Employer Program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request. Brought to you by this station and the Alabama Broadcasters Association.
The interstate is backed up this morning due to an accident.
So you don't like sitting still on the interstate? Get the free Algo traffic app. With Algo, you'll have the information you need to avoid problems on your route, to work, to home. Traffic backups, wrecks, lane closures, all with current info and live traffic camera feeds. Know before you go with Algo Traffic, ALGO Traffic from the Alabama Department of Transportation. Get it today and arrive on time.
Sponsored by LDOT, ABA, and this station.
Back here from Zapata Mexican Restaurant as the Panther Pulse continues on, and we bring in now 4 guys from the big win over Benjamin Russell. We start first with offense, offensive lineman Brian Terry and wide receiver Christian Johnson. Guys, how we doing tonight?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I want to start with you, Christian. With Darius Copeland going down a couple weeks ago, the wide receiver certainly felt the pressure. Shout out to Darius Copeland in the house tonight. Great to see number 1 with us. The pressure kind of went up with you guys to step up and make plays. You've been one of the guys who really stepped it up the last couple of weeks. What's your mentality been these last few games?
Man, we lost a great player. We just got to step in, work harder in practice, push harder, make big plays for us.
And what's it like now, being Darius obviously on the sideline now? What's that like, him still being there, a part of the team, even if he's not out there on the field?
Yeah, he's definitely helping us out, coaching us up on the routes and stuff, making sure we are still crisp, knowing he's still with us. Yeah.
Now, big-time win, a physical football team, Benjamin Russell. What did we see from these guys from that offensive line perspective, front-wise, more athletic? Were they big and strong? A little combination of both there.
I'd say more a combination of both. They were strong and they were quick, but I mean, nobody's easy to block, so you never underestimate anybody.
And on that last drive there in the fourth quarter when y'all were just running down the field on them, what's that like being on the line like that? You start seeing that you're dominating the game a little bit?
Once you know you start dominating the game, it just comes natural. You don't feel like you're playing football, you know what I mean? It's fun, physical, you know, good atmosphere. You just in the zone.
There were a lot of points in this game that felt like momentum shifts. At what point did you guys kind of feel like we're really getting in control of this ball game?
I say when we start like throwing in more, like completing more passes and stuff, opening up the run game, we start moving the ball a lot more. I think that helped us out a lot.
I'd say once we came out of half and we kept getting 4 or 5 yards each carry over and over again, there was nothing they could do. So, yeah.
And we talked a little bit with Coach about those fourth down calls, going for it. As offensive guys, y'all got to love when you get this. You look to the sideline, get to go for it on fourth down, right?
Yeah, it's fun for us. We just ready to convert, keep pushing up the field.
I know we're going to get it the first down, so I'm always excited to go for it on 4.
I talked to Markel Bell today. He had 21 carries, I believe, for 39 yards, but we talked about how impressive his performance was. He was getting hit all night. What was y'all's mindset? Because that run really started to open up late in the game, and that final drive, it really paid off. What was your mindset with that physicality to continue committing to the run?
I knew that we can do it. We just had to keep hitting it over and over again. And eventually, they were going to lay down, and as you saw, they did.
And now you got a big one against Homewood this week. No, it's not technically for a region title, but it certainly does a lot for y'all if y'all can get that win. What's the mindset going into this week?
We just got to work. I have a good week of practice, come in with the same mindset we have every week. We just got to work.
Like I said, you never underestimate anybody. You go in the game the same way as you would any other game, locked in, and you know you got to take care of business.
Does this one feel a little special knowing it's Homewood and the kind of history we've had? We snuck one out last year, but before that, they kind of dominated that rivalry. Do y'all have any sort of extra oomph to this game?
Oh, yeah. I feel like this one definitely personal, going back to the history. I know we got one last year, but that's just not enough.
We got to just keep pushing, you know. It's a personal game. We trying to get it back-to-back wins on there.
All right, let's hear from these defensive guys now. Bring in Big Keon Brooks and Ethan Hill joining us, defensive lineman, as well as a member of that secondary as we switch over these headsets.
Thought we were getting better at this.
Well, you know, it's an adventure every week.
Everyone does it differently.
Little musical chairs, we're moving around. How we doing, guys?
Good, how you doing?
Yep.
Now, I want to get we'll start with you first, Keon. Very physical game. We heard about Benjamin Russell and the athletes and the quarterback. Why do you think we had so much success putting him under pressure and forcing those turnovers?
It's definitely because we prepared more for him, you know, because much like Vincina, we hear it in our ear all the time, so we have, like, put it together, we prepare harder.
Now 10 takeaways in 2 games here for the defense. What's that like? What's that been like for y'all, especially, you know, building some confidence going forward for the next, you know, hopefully month and a half?
I feel like it shows the growth of like our linebackers and D-line, because they're forcing pressure on the QB, making them throw picks, and we're getting fumbles in the backfield and open field, and we're just getting better.
Chemistry is the key of that too. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, let's talk a little more about the chemistry. You know, you hear it from offensive side. And I saw some of these guys earlier today, and I said, guys, what is going on with the defense? And they looked at me like it's a bad thing. I said, no, y'all are playing at just another level. What do you attribute that to, and how do you develop that on defense?
We just look at, like, signs, basically. We just communicate it across the line, linebackers, secondary, you know, because I'll point out an example, like with Benjamin Russell, they had the Wildcat play, and they'll open, like, the A-gap more. It's just a little stuff. We'll just, like, you know, communicate that around the whole defense, and we got the stops. So it's just a little stuff there.
Yeah, I feel like, we have a lot of great pieces in the offense, and over time, we're getting more and more connected and know each other more in our habits and stuff, and so we're going to play better.
Now, I got to ask you, Ethan, you've been a ball hawk. The interception against Calera was something else, to say the least. What has that done for your confidence? What do you attribute to that, to sniffing those interceptions out?
I feel like they've been putting a lot of pressure on the QBs, making them throw questionable passes, and I've just been in the right spot to get them.
Now you're coming up this week, the Homewood game. Obviously, it's a big deal, but it's another quarterback that you probably heard a lot about. Yeah. A lot of people talking about Woods Ray. Is that just another guy in the line, or is it once again a guy that you go in and try to focus on a little bit more?
It's another guy that you focus in a little bit more, and you also got to look at the guys in front of him, like the O-line. Much like Benjamin Russell, fast and physical guys, strong guys. So you definitely don't want to forget about that O-line he's behind. But yeah, it's another guy that we're preparing hard for.
Has y'all's preparation changed at all throughout the season? It seems like the team's growing, or is it just more dedication and commitment to what you've been doing?
More dedication, less mistakes. Same thing we've been doing like the whole year.
So what'd y'all do with your off Friday night? You had a Thursday night. Y'all go watch some football, or?
I went to the beach.
There you go. That's how you do a fall break right there.
Well, I know Ethan's over here. He's getting ready for NBA season to start. My Timberwolves fan over here.
That's why you keep bringing him on. He's the Timberwolves fan.
We'll talk about that later. Guys, looking forward again to Friday. Congrats on all the success, and looking forward to watching y'all do it again on Friday.
Yes, sir.
All right, when we come back, we'll switch gears to PHS basketball. Coach Crosby Morrison and several of her players are with us to talk about their season. Coming up later, we talk to Coach D and several of his guys. It is all basketball for the next couple of segments here on the Panther Pulse. Right back from Zapata right after this.
You can now do more without it costing you more. Alabama's attractions have come together to offer the all-in-one ticket that downloads to your mobile device. No matter how many attractions listed on the ticket you see during the time span you bought, your price stays the same. Pick the right ticket option that best fits your schedule, and then enjoy more attractions without spending more. All-in-one tickets for different areas of Alabama are available at alabama.travel and other places where online tickets are sold. Brought to you by Alabama Tourism Department, the ABA, and this station.
Work is a part of all of us. Working drives us to push beyond what we thought was imaginable and allows us to come together again for the things that really matter. That's why the Alabama Department of Labor and the Alabama Career Center system is here to help you discover bigger opportunities than ever before. Visit your local career center or alabamaworks.alabama.gov. Funding provided by the USDOL, ETA, and Federal WIOA, and Equal Opportunity Employer Program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request. Brought to you by this station and the Alabama Broadcasters Association.
Zapata Mexican Restaurant is a proud supporter of 93.3 The River. Zapata is a local family-owned and operated business, proud to have been a part of the Pelham area for more than 20 years. They have more than 100 authentic and delicious Mexican dishes to choose from. There's something for everyone, from salads to steak fajitas to chicken fingers. They also have excellent vegetarian options and a kid-friendly menu. Zapata Mexican Restaurant, where Valleydale meets Highway 31 in Pelham.
State Farm Insurance Agent Joseph Chambers is a proud supporter of 93.3 The River and all things Pelham. Joseph and his staff can take care of your home and auto insurance needs as well as life insurance. State Farm was recently ranked #1 by J.D. Power and Associates for life insurance customer satisfaction. Joseph's office is located in the Canyon Park Office Center. His number is 205-663-3276. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Back here at Zapata Mexican Restaurant as the Panther Pulse continues on. Great show already and only going to get better now, joined by Coach Crosby Morrison. We got Kaylee Peterson. We have Karma Wynn. How we doing tonight, guys?
Good. Glad to be here.
Well, we'll start with you first, Coach. A history-making year, as much as you may not want to brag on the program and stay humble. A Final Four appearance, first in program history. Just talk about what that meant for you and what it meant for the program.
I mean, obviously it was a very, very special time for Pelham High School in general to generate a lot of excitement around its girls basketball program, that it was much needed and much deserved. Those kids that we've had, you know, they put in the work and they deserved every bit of what they got. So.
Yeah, and that's something that being from the outside looking in last year was so much fun to watch. As being a Pelham High School graduate, I feel like it might have been one of the first times that I had a conversation with other Pelham High School graduates about the girls basketball program. What's that like when you're getting people from the outside, maybe a little bit more attention, not just from within?
Oh yeah, it's super special. I've had people reach out to me that said, other Pelham High School graduates are rooting us on. They're watching it on NFHS, or they went to the game. And that's just really special for the community. And I'm really proud of the group that we had that was able to, bring the community together.
So how does it change your goals going forward? I mean, what does that do to kind of change the mentality in how you're coaching?
Yeah, so, this group has heard forever, the 17 years that we had and what they did. And this year we want to focus on not defending anything. We want to create new challenges. And the group that we had, cannot be understated how special they were to the success last year. Our scout team was better than most teams that we played. Our second five was by far better than most teams that we played. And so I think that this year we're not going to set out to defend anything. They're just going to create new challenges and create new goals and expectations. And I think they're going to meet and exceed that. So
what are some of those goals moving?
Yeah, obviously we want to get back to where we were last year. We want to make a state finals appearance. I think that left a bad taste in our mouth how it ended. Even though it ended a little bit better than what we expected, with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But yeah, we want to have a good family atmosphere this year. This is a really, really tight-knit group. They like each other, and as much as I hate it in practice, they get along very well. So, which is good. Good chemistry, a lot of grit. We got a lot of youth. So we'll see some ups and downs with that youth this year, but I think they'll set out to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, I remember that end of the fourth quarter, and probably not as well as y'all, but I just remember keeping up with it and the excitement behind that. You talk about maybe leaving it behind and having new challenges, but also having that balance of using it as motivation. How do you find that balance as a coach?
Oh, yeah. The ones that were on the bench were itching to get in the game and be a part of that, that craziness and that excitement. And so they know what it takes to get there now. And I think that plays a huge part. Those bright lights, the atmosphere was fresh, new, scary. And they know what it takes to get there, and I think if we can get there again, we can make something really, really special happen.
What does it do for a program to have a great team with culture and accountability for going forward? And you can sell to people, interested in joining the program, hey, we're fresh off a Final Four appearance, so, what does that do for just recruiting to the program?
Yeah, we talk a lot about legacy, and we talk a lot about leaving it better than you found it, and not only to the winning part of that, but the personal part of it. And our seniors each year for the past 4 years have meant so much to the program. And the 3 seniors that we have this year are super, super special. They have put in the work each and every year, and it's finally their time to shine. And the 2 that are with me are juniors, and the 3 that I have this year, Niles Daniel, Lacey Gogan, Caitlin Hollingsworth, I call Smiley. They are at a basketball game right now playing, and so they're ready for the season to start. If not, they would be here, but they're ready to get it going. So they're super special and excited what they can bring this year.
You talk about how that success maybe brings in people to the program, but also the student body in those games. Obviously, I don't know if everyone necessarily agrees with how the 6, 7:30 tip-offs, who should go first, who should go second. I won't get into that. I have my own thoughts on it, but how do you get those students to come out earlier? Does having that kind of success, do you feel like that'll make crowds better going into this year?
I sure hope so. Typically in the past, the girls' games may be slow. They may play a lot of zone. They may be really stagnant on offense. Well, not this year and not last year as well. We're going to be high pressure, very fast. We don't have a lot of size, so we're going to be playing fast, and it's going to be chaotic, and it's going to be really, really fun to watch. We have very, very dynamic players this year that are exceptional to watch, and players that are going to play on the next level. And I think people need to come out, and especially the kids in the school need to come out and support them, because you don't get to see a lot of that talent a lot of times in other different high schools. So super exciting.
Well, take it from the guy that does the PA at the basketball games. It's a fun product to watch. Yeah, it drives me crazy when I get on my soapbox and say, to see our fans coming in tail end of the fourth quarter, getting primed up for the guys' game when y'all might be up 40 at the time,
right,
and playing an exciting brand of basketball. So let's hear from the girls now. Kaylee Peterson, Karma Wynn. I first just do want to hear from y'all's vantage point of kind of what it was like to experience being at the BJCC in that big environment and part of the Final Four.
It was really exciting, like nothing like I've ever experienced before. I was really excited for our seniors to come that far and all the work that they put in. It was crazy.
My perspective, I had to watch from the bench because of my surgery, but it was an exciting experience. Like it was just really different. Like the big arena, we had like all our like students come in, our parents come in, our staff come in, just everybody there to see us play, and it's just all around different.
Well, I do want to ask really quick about the injury. I do think that second unit before your injury and even after they're still effective, but you just added a different element coming off that bench. I almost looked forward to that platoon substitution to watch you just kind of wreak havoc. What was it like, and how did you grow as a player to go through that injury and have to watch from the side?
It definitely took a mental toll. I will say that because I felt like in that moment when I had my injury, I did not have to make that play that I made because we were already up in that game when I had my injury. I felt like I let my team down at the beginning anyways. So, it was just like not being there for my team. And like if we had me, I'm not saying like it would have been extremely different, but it would have made a difference, especially in the Final Four. We needed just that quick pace, that spark. We just couldn't find it.
And I've talked about the excitement of that Final Four, just the whole playoff run, really, not just the one game in the BJCC, but seeing that excitement grow more and more from the program, from y'all's perspective, from your friends, from different students. What's that been like for y'all, and has it kind of carried over at all since the season ended?
Yes, there's been people that like I don't even know that came up to me and been like, great job, congratulations on making it to the Final Four, and I'm like, thank you. So I hope that, people still decide to come out and support us this year as well.
There's a lot of more supporters that we didn't have last year. They came in and they talk to us all the time. They're like, y'all are the team to watch. We're going to keep coming and supporting y'all. We're just watching the team. Because we made it pretty far last year, especially for school history. So, making school history, a lot of people, it like inspires other people or like influences other people to come to the games, watch, and see what else we can pull out.
So how do you take last year and say, we don't want to be a great team, we want to be a great program, and sort of continue that success this year?
We just are going to focus on one game at a time and making sure that we are all a family and we watch over each other. We take care of our academics, sports, everything, and we just come together as one and hopefully work together to make it to the Final Four, maybe state championship, just whatever it leads to.
Definitely holding each other accountable and staying disciplined, making sure every practice we go into, we're practicing really hard. We're not letting players get down on themselves. We're encouraging each other, just making it all count.
And now we're moving closer and closer to the season. October is always that time where I'm like, wow, basketball season is literally like, it's right there. You can smell it. NBA starts really soon. I'm excited. So, but with it being that close, what's this offseason, this transition from offseason into that practice, what's that look like for y'all? When do you have to turn a switch at all?
Absolutely. You got to find the motivation to, make those 7 a.m. practices, make those 7 a.m. lifts, make sure you're giving your all in the weight room, especially because you got more practices and you're not really going to see the weight room much. And the intensity of practice, it kicks up a notch. So you definitely got to make sure you come into practice with that energy. You're not bringing your teammates down. It is different. It is very much. It's harder. It's harder.
With the smile, I think you're ready for it. Anything to add, Kaylee?
Through the summer, we've been working hard. Having our play dates, having practice, getting to know each other a lot more, and just seeing what we can do, focusing on our team chemistry and going from there. So
Well, we're looking forward to it. An encore to a Final Four appearance should be a great season. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. And, hey, to the students and everybody, show up to watch these ladies support. It is a great product on the court. Coming up, we switch gears. Coach Greg Dickinson and several of his guys will join us to talk PHS boys basketball. That is right after this. You are listening to the Panther Pulse from Zapata Mexican Restaurant on 93.3 The River.
The Army National Guard is committed to keeping the country safe and our community secure. Composed of hundreds of thousands of citizen soldiers from all walks of life, the Guard is always ready to respond to local or national emergencies. We protect the homeland. We're always there when called upon, and in every state and territory, we stand guard for our communities. To learn more, log on to NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard. Aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
State Farm Insurance agent Joseph Chambers is a proud supporter of 93.3 The River and all things Pelham. Joseph and his staff can take care of your home and auto insurance needs as well as life insurance. State Farm was recently ranked #1 by J.D. Power and Associates for life insurance customer satisfaction. Joseph's office is located in the Canyon Park Office Center. His number is 205-663-3276. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Right now, it's a great time for anybody ready to get some real work done in Alabama. Whether you're somebody who needs to hire, somebody who wants to get hired, or a student who wants to know how to prepare to get hired, there's a new unified force for your success and a brighter future. It's time to get to work, Alabama. Alabama works.
Sponsored by Alabama Works, the ABA, and this station. Visit alabamaworks.com.
Zapata Mexican Restaurant is a proud supporter of 93.3 The River. Zapata is a local, family-owned and operated business, proud to have been a part of the Pelham area for more than 20 years. They have more than 100 authentic and delicious Mexican dishes to choose from. There's something for everyone, from salads to steak fajitas to chicken fingers. They also have excellent vegetarian options and a kid-friendly menu. Zapata Mexican Restaurant, where Valleydale meets Highway 31 in Pelham.
Back here at Zapata Mexican Restaurant, the Panther Pulse continues now. Coach D is in the house, several of his seniors. Coach Greg Dickinson, head coach of PHS boys basketball. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having us.
Great to have you here. Always a great time to talk basketball. It's the greatest time of year when football is going. You get basketball kicking off.
Playoff baseball.
Somebody said baseball is like, playoff baseball is great. Regular season stretches.
All right.
I'm there for that PHS baseball as well.
Right.
All that to say, great season a year ago, Sweet 16, 2 straight years.
Right.
How do you feel about the progression of the program since you got at PHS?
Oh, man, it's been getting better every year. First year, I think we went 17-10 or something like that, and we set the goals from there and ended up 27-6 last year. So that first year, those guys really set the bar for us, and last year they set the bar extremely high for these guys. So I think they're up for the challenge. They've been working extremely hard, and I look forward to seeing what they do this year.
And now that we are in the offseason, season's coming up, but still in the offseason, what's that look like for y'all over the course of, the last 6 months or so?
It's beautiful for me, but for the guys, I think they will probably say something different. We work extremely hard out there on the track and on the football field when the football guys are in the weight room. We are also on the bleachers. We're in the weight room every single day. We have a great strength and conditioning coach. She's getting these guys a lot stronger and bigger. So our star guy, Thompson, he can put on 25 pounds of muscle. So I think that's going to help us out extremely a lot next year.
So you lose a guy in MJ Jones, Player of the Year, Shelby County.
Right.
Did a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Great kid, great character guy. How do you begin to replace that production and leadership?
It's going to be hard to replace MJ. MJ did a lot for us, IQ, leader of the team. A lot of guys looked up to him. He was a loving kid. But I think he definitely passed that torch over to Kamari at the guard aspect. Kamari can do pretty much everything MJ was able to do. Except the shooting part. We're working on the shooting. Once he gets his shot up, I'll say in the 30-some percentile, I think Kamari is going to feel that role that MJ filled in too. And plus, we get Thompson. Thompson, he was our backup post. He did a little bit of everything last year, but now he's that main guy for us in the post. And we can spread it out a lot more because Thompson is more of a pick and pop type guy. He can shoot the three, he can drive. And then it leaves a lot open for Jackson. Jackson is an extremely great shooter this year. He didn't get to do it a lot more last year because we had so many seniors. But this year, these guys will get to show what they can do as well.
Fan favorite, though, when he's in there, hit those threes.
Man, the fans love it.
Erupted.
They made it hard on me not to put him in. They put Jackson in.
I thought it was Bobby.
It was Bobby, yeah. They called him Bobby.
He's nodding the head over there.
Now, when you lose a guy like MJ and you're trying to replace it by committee, like you're talking about, all these guys getting better opportunities, does it change your strategies, your tactics at all when out there on the court? Do you still try to stick with the same system?
We still stick with the same system. I think as far as athletically, we are still just as good as we were. Now, we're not as big as we were last year, but these guys, they work extremely hard, just like those last guys. They know the system well. They play the same defense that our guys played last year. And we just look forward to seeing what they can do. I think they'll be fine.
Now, we got several lettermen, but we got a guy that really showing out on the football field. How do you work with these guys who are dual sport athletes and, Three's invested in football right now? How do you kind of keep them engaged with what the basketball team's doing while they're playing football?
I don't. I let them focus on football. Don't worry about a thing with basketball right now. I would love for them to try to get a shot in here and there, but mostly focus on football. They're doing a great job out there on football. Football actually rolls over into basketball. It brings that physicality to the basketball court. I love for our guys to play football, so when they come back, the defensive side anyway is so aggressive, just like I like it. And it takes them about a month on the offensive end to get back on the swing of things and conditioning, because basketball conditioning and football conditioning, two different types of conditioning. So, but I love the fact that they play football. It brings that physicality to the game.
Yeah, I think we talked about that kind of transition last year when you're trying to wait on those football players, get them into the right shape.
Right.
How tough is that, whether it's a month or, 6 weeks, somewhere in there, how tough is that on the team trying to get an identity when you might not have all your players?
Honestly, I've been doing it so long, it's not tough for me at all. I know it's going to take them maybe 3 to 4 weeks to get back in the swing of things, but as far as long as they know the system, have a good summer with them, they come right on in. The biggest thing is just trying to get those reps of shooting in. They already know the plays. They know the defensive schemes and all of that. So it's not that hard at all.
Do you see a lot of growth from the guys that are playing while the football players are out? Does that kind of develop some of those guys and give them that, in-game experience?
It does. It really does. They get to get all those reps that the star football players normally would get. The shooting, you can see they're learning the system a lot more because they are getting all the reps that the football guys normally get, or they used to have to share with those guys. Now they don't have to share those reps, so they will improve a lot better, and they have. That's a plus for them.
Well, let's hear from some of the seniors now. We got K3 with us, and we'll start with you three. Year ago you played alongside MJ. Hearing Coach say this stuff, how he's going to kind of trust in you. What's that mean to you, and how do you want to sort of expand your role this year?
I really don't think it's that big of a deal to me because me and Coach always talked about my role, and I always knew my role when I was with MJ. And now this year I can just prove to everybody what I can do when I'm with my team and leading the team and showing everything all around. So that's how I feel about it.
So how much have you been able to work on basketball during the off season?
I'll say this summer I was in the gym a lot. I was traveling, going to camps, doing basketball and football every day in the gym late nights with Coach, working on my shooting, dribbling, all that. Just so this year, because how Coach said, work on my shooting. So this year I can prove everybody that I can do everything on the court.
A little bit different than being on a football field or even the football weight room. You get to pick up a basketball, and it's not going to go. It's going to be a bad shot. I know that feeling.
Now, how much of it's just mental? We know, certainly seeing you stroke the ball. How much of that is just a mental, hindrance in trying to get in there and see that ball go through the hoop?
It just got to lock in for real. After I see one go down, the rhythm. Me and Coach always talk about the rhythm and just keep shooting the rhythm. And I worked on that this summer on the rhythm, and then my shot has improved this summer.
Well, you mentioned the gym. Do want to talk to Thompson about the gym, 25 pounds of muscle. What was your mentality, and how were you able to pack on the pounds?
During the summer, me and Coach had a talk, and he said if I was going to play for him, I had to gain at least 30 pounds. So I've been working in the gym every single day. I've been eating, doing all that.
Is that you got to do the protein shakes and mix in a little extra food there?
Yes, sir. I had to eat a lot more than I used to. I had to pack onto my diet, do a lot of things to help me gain weight.
Now, last year, I was used to seeing you come in and do kind of the dirty work, make plays, grind down low. As you expand your role, what kind of additions are you looking to make and changes to your mindset?
I'm hoping to play not only just inside, but be versatile and be able to get in the outside and all that to help. That would help open up other options for everybody else, for myself, help be a team player, make passes and all that.
And what's being a part of an offense like that? I mean, Coach talked about so many different guys that can do so many different things. What's that like, being in that offense where y'all can go to any option at any given time?
It's nice because the other players, they always think you stop one person and then nobody else can really score. But if everybody on the offense can score and do their own thing, then they have to worry about everybody, and it's more one-on-one games for everybody.
So as far as team goals, off of Sweet 16, have y'all, thought about this? I know Three's, locked into football and those playoffs and succeeding there, but, what is your thought coming into this season as far as team goals?
It always is nice to make it back to the Sweet 16, but I'm trying to push it further and break records for Pelham this year.
I agree with Thompson. We've been in the Sweet 16 since my freshman year, and so as a goal for myself and as a team, I wanted to go past the Sweet 16 and go to the Elite 8.
All right, let's hear from Jackson as well. And Jackson Germack, Bobby, as they call him in the student section. Jackson, as your role expands this year, what have you kind of taken from last year, watching the team succeed and, playing some spot minutes, but, what did you take from last year for this season?
I think if you watched our team last year, I think my role is going to be similar to Roy, strictly shoot, play defense, just work hard, be a voice on the court, lead the younger guys, and yeah.
So I know you like to shoot the ball. Are you more of a streaky kind of guy? You think you're a little more consistent, or is it once you got the hot hand, give me the ball and get out of the way?
I'm a very confident shooter. I feel like I can get hot at any time. Obviously, if I make 2 or 3, I'm going to want the ball, but I wouldn't say I ever get cold. I don't know. I'm very confident with myself.
That tells me a lot right there.
Yeah, that's the confidence right there.
Yeah.
So what's the philosophy from the team when it comes to heat checks? You say you make a couple in a row. You want the ball. I mean, are they going to get you the ball?
Yeah, my teammates trust me. I can tell. We got a couple guys, juniors coming up, and Matthew and Joe. I've been trying to get my chemistry with them better during practice, and but yeah, I know Kamari, Thompson, Corey. We all have good chemistry, so they know when to look for me.
And we talked about off seasons maybe for football, obviously looking different. How many shots are you getting up during the off season?
Honestly, it just comes natural. I can take a couple months off and come back.
Jealous of that.
Make 10 in a row. But I just go out there and have fun. Try to test myself, challenge myself. So
I feel like I struck a chord over here.
Got some laughter over here. I got to ask you the all-important question. The Bobby nickname, I've heard several different stories. I think you may have even said, I'm not really sure. What's behind the nickname?
It started a while back. Coach Anderson's in here, but when I was in 4th, 5th grade, I was the bat boy for the baseball team, and one of the players didn't know my name, so he just called me Bobby. And so for the rest of the season, they went on to have a really good season, went to the state championship. Every game I was at, they won, it seemed like. So they got to the championship, and what? Yeah, except the last one, which they lost. But I was their good luck charm. They chanted my name, and it just stuck with me through Pelham, I guess.
So I guess that magic kind of helped the baseball team.
Yeah,
again,
this year too. So I was their #1 supporter this year. They went to the state championship again. So it's just, I don't know. I might have some luck in me or something.
Hey, and
now he just needs it to rub it off. There you go.
Yeah, bringing it as a letterman. Well, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. I know I am definitely looking forward to another great season of PHS basketball, both guys and girls. So looking forward to that. We will wrap things up when we return. Coach Vickery is back with us to talk about the big-time region matchup against the Homewood Patriots. That is coming up from Zapata Mexican Restaurant. You are listening to the Panther Pulse on 93.3 The River.
If you're experiencing a temporary financial hardship and are struggling to pay your mortgage, we may be able to help you keep your home. Hardest Hit Alabama is a federally funded foreclosure prevention program. If you qualify, Hardest Hit Alabama can pay your mortgage payments on your behalf or provide other forms of assistance. We've helped thousands of Alabama homeowners, and we may be able to help you. Visit hardesthitalabama.com to learn more. Brought to you by Hardest Hit Alabama, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Zapata Mexican Restaurant is a proud supporter of 93.3 The River. Zapata is a local, family-owned and operated business, proud to have been a part of the Pelham area for more than 20 years. They have more than 100 authentic and delicious Mexican dishes to choose from. There's something for everyone, from salads to steak fajitas to chicken fingers. They also have excellent vegetarian options and a kid-friendly menu. Zapata Mexican Restaurant, where Valleydale meets Highway 31 in Pelham.
State Farm Insurance Agent Joseph Chambers is a proud supporter of 93.3 The River and all things Pelham. Joseph and his staff can take care of your home and auto insurance needs as well as life insurance. State Farm was recently ranked #1 by J.D. Power and Associates for life insurance customer satisfaction. Joseph's office is located in the Canyon Park Office Center. His number is 205-663-3276. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Coach Nick Saban.
Helping children is very important to Miss Terry and me. As parents, it saddens us to know that there are more than 5,000 children in foster care in Alabama. These children need loving, nurturing families to care for them. We ask you to join the team and become champions for children by opening your heart, opening your home, and becoming a foster or adoptive parent.
For more information, call 1-866-4AL-KIDS. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Back here at Zapata Mexican Restaurant, wrapping up what has been a fantastic show. Thanks to all our guests, Coach D, Coach Morrison, all our football players, but we still got Homewood to discuss. Coach Vickery back with us. Get some good food, Coach?
Yeah, chips, salsa, everything here is good, especially the chips and salsa.
Again, want to thank Zapata as well as Joseph Chambers, State Farm Insurance Agent, our sponsor and all sponsors and all they do for Pelham Panther Athletics. Now, we turn our attention to another huge region matchup. The Homewood Patriots, probably our toughest test to date. What are you seeing from Homewood when you look at them, and are they comparable to anybody we faced thus far?
Well, I think they are very comparable to just about everyone in our region. I mean, everyone each week has been, very well coached and good quarterback play, and they're solid all the way around. They don't have a lot of weaknesses. They don't have I wouldn't say any just tremendous playmaker, standout kind of guys, but they're all really, really good players and so well coached. They're always in the right spots where they need to be offensively, defensively, and the special teams. So you can't make any mistakes because they're going to take advantage of all mistakes that you make. And our kids have a big challenge for our kids that I know that they're looking forward to and to keep proving to everyone just how much better we've gotten from the first of the year. But that we feel we can line up in the beginning of the year. We felt we could line up with anyone in play and beat anyone on our schedule, and today we still feel the same way.
I think it was a few weeks ago where you talked about how week in, week out feels like a rivalry, feels like a big game, and it just continues. I mean, Homewood, I don't know how much of a rivalry it is, but there's so much on the line. How much of the past 6-7 weeks has prepared y'all for a game of this magnitude?
Well, I think every game, especially when you lose the first couple early, they really ramp up and kind of you have a lot of must-win type feel games. You got to turn that corner, got to get that confidence, especially going into region play. So we've had a lot of must-win football games at this point, and our kids have kind of thrived in that situation. They, even when we didn't pull out a win, for instance, at the Helena game, and still made the plays to win it. I mean, we were very, very, very close, and so I think those close games come back to help you late in the year. The mentality, they've handled things really well with not getting too high, not getting too low, and just going out there and playing, believing in what they're doing, and believing in their coaches, and making plays.
What areas of focus are we working on this week in practice?
Well, you had to contain the quarterback. He made a lot of big plays. He's again a really athletic kid who's big and strong and can make plays with his legs or arm, and but not having one standout kind of guy also makes it a little bit more difficult to defend, right? Because they have a plethora of guys they roll through there, running back and wide receiver wise, offensively that all can hurt you and all can make plays when so you got to cover the whole field, and for us defensively is just trying to get them in long yardage situations and get them into predictable passing situations so we can try to get pressure and force them into some tough throws. So and offensively, we got to keep getting better running the football and being able to establish a run, and kind of everything revolves around that.
So when you talk about the preparation for this week, how much are you talking about this game and the implications that come with it? I mean, is there a talk of, like, if we want a region title, I mean, this is the one to win?
Yeah, we did. We focused on that immediately after the game on Friday. I mean, it's not about, just blowing a game up and saying, making it a, bigger than it needs to be. But you want kids to understand the importance of the long-term goal, which is to be, the highest seed possible in the playoffs, right? That's what we've talked about all year with those kids, and they have to understand that this is the game that defines that. That goes a long way in determining where we finish. So we've discussed it, and they know the kind of drill there. It's not an end-all be-all. You win that game. It's not like you're playing for the region championship because you still have another region game the next week. But they know in order to be in that position, we got to go out and win this one.
We've had kind of a wonky schedule with school the last week, kind of a fall break. I know it wasn't for the teachers. We were still there, but not having the kids, having some E-days and all that. What does that do as far as preparation is concerned?
Well, I think it we talked about it last week. I'm not a fan of Thursday games, but when Thursday game's over, it actually becomes you do get that extra day to rest a little bit and for the kids, and it doesn't really change what we do preparation-wise. We're here Sunday. Our coaches-wise, we're here on Sundays. Kids come in on Monday, just as normal, and we had them for about 3.5 hours yesterday, and back on regular schedule today. So our preparation doesn't really change. With the weird schedule, they're all there ready to go on Monday, even though everyone else was not in school. They had the luxury of I'll say that they got an opportunity to be at school with us on Monday.
I'm sure they would say it the same way,
yeah,
right? They would say
exactly
it the exact same way. So on Friday, you have that Thursday game. Past Thursday games, I think we talked about, staff getting out to go out on a Friday, look at other teams. Obviously, Homewood played on that Thursday too. Not a lot of games on that Friday. Did you take a Friday off? Did you go find one?
Yeah, we did, because our next two opponents, they were playing Chilton, so our next two opponents played the same on Thursday, so we weren't able to go scout that. So I actually went down and supported Pelham volleyball in Gulf Shores on Friday and Saturday, and came back early Sunday morning and got started back with our coaches getting ready for Homewood.
As the weather starts to cool off, do y'all have to make any adjustments to team preparation, to anything to adjust as that cold weather kicks in?
Well, from the kids' standpoint, it's like 60 degrees, and they have on sleeves and hand warmers, and it's like it's 30. But but other than trying to keep them from overdressing for 65-degree weather, no real changes for us. It's nice. I mean, it makes practice a lot, a little bit crisper, and don't have as many breaks in there and those kind of things. But we don't change really what we do. It's just a matter of it comes at the right time. It comes at a good time because we have some kids that are banged up, and it gives them an opportunity to not get beat up by that heat all week long, and so we run a little bit more actually, and from a conditioning standpoint as it gets cooler, just because kids are a little bit fresher, you know, at times. So, so we're in pretty good shape and ready to go on Friday.
I think if you're playing when it does actually get really cold, something's going really well for you if you're playing when it's really cold in November and December. So, but with this, as a whole, you got 2 region games left and then the playoffs. Is there anything where you're trying to prepare the team mindset-wise for playoffs or even physically for playoffs? Is there something you can do this early, or is that something that just has to wait a couple more weeks?
Well, you know, we kind of do some different things with our schedule. We're cutting some of the physical part out but still maintaining the conditioning part. You know, because it is you know, our goal is not to be in the playoffs. Our goal is to win in the playoffs, and you know, you add those extra weeks, and it really becomes a battle of attrition with the teams that are left. And so we're not particularly, you know, just super deep and at a lot of spots. So we have to be cognizant of not only getting the preparation in, but keeping our kids fresh for the long run, not just for this Friday. So, so that's really it. We don't really turn our attention to who we're playing because it's just everything's still up in the air, and we know what region we're playing. That region won't be settled probably until it'll actually probably be settled this week. So we'll know a little bit more this week, but we won't know our side of it until the following week. So, so we'll start getting some film on that as coaches. But the kids, you know, it's just a matter of managing their bodies and managing the conditioning in order to make a run there of those weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the playoffs.
Well, certainly a lot will go into this one on Friday with Homewood to determine how things shake out in Region 3. That will do it for us here at Zapata. Again, want to thank our guests, Coach D, Coach Morrison, all of their players, the football players, and as always, Coach Vic for Caleb Turrentine. I am Justin Foster. I also want to shout out Braden George, our engineer. That is it from all of us here at Zapata. Good night, and go Panthers.